this is just the best stuff. That's literally all it is. It is a choice card from Miraidon. It is a Calyrex with clear amulet, so you cannot be. If you knock it off, go ahead. But by all means, I'm not going to give you that chance. The Urshifu will always give you options. It is the Stellar Terra, so you can at least get some really big hits when you need them to. Among Us is just Among Us. It is one of the best. That's just how it is. And Landorus is like really good. Like I said, you have Sludge Bomb and you have Earth Power. It covers so many of the good stuff that's in the format right now. So you really you don't lose anything by having it. Now, the Smeargle stuff has been very interesting just because Smeargle puts on a lot of pressure with the fake out to decorate in the Spore. And we've seen it had a lot of success in this tournament so far. The Tornado has been very interesting because that Sharp Beak does throw off a lot of different damage calculations, because a lot of times you're just like, oh, okay, I can switch into Bleak Wind. Now, when you switch in, you're taking a little bit more damage. We've seen Rillabooms take almost half in the Bleak Wind Storm, and that makes a significant difference. So the survivability of you being able to switch in changes to a whole other degree. And Raging Bolt is just Raging Bolt. It is one of the best things we've had with that booster opting to go for big damage here, because sometimes you just need one big hit. And of course, Zamazenta and Calyrex Shadow, you know what they do. They are this is of course the setup version. We do see the nasty plot with the Life Orb, so opting, if you let me get one turn to set up, I'm going to blow you away. Simple as that.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've seen a lot of these matchups play out to where the Calyrex Ice Rider games definitely do like to slow play it against these, because when you're running a team like this, you have a lot of like slow, bulkier Pokemon. Like the Landorus is usually pretty bulky, usually designed to underspeed Zamazenta under Trick Room, and with Tornadus especially on the other side, we're probably going to see a more Calyrex Ice focused game plan. Chromate definitely probably going to recognize that and try to lean more into the Zamazenta to try and outlast the Trick Room turns and hopefully just not let it get caught by Landorus. The Choice Scarf Miraidon going to be a very valuable tool in this matchup as well to try and pressure the Calyrex Shadow Rider once it exits Trick Room. So probably going to be trying to save that for the end game. But also Rillaboom going to be very important in this matchup to try and deny that Miraidon terrain advantage. Just try to get those fake outs in and out to try and stall out potential Trick Room from Michaelderbeste's side. He does talk very highly of the Incineroar Calyrex Ice lead into a lot of stuff like this. So probably going to be seeing that come into play, whether it's in the lead or whether it's an adjustment. So it's a very interesting matchup here, and I'm going to have to see how these players are going to approach it. I'm going to see interesting to see if Raging Bolt makes an appearance. We've seen Raging Bolt. It'll be very interesting to figure out how the Raging Bolt interacts with the speed, because I know we've seen a couple earlier games with Raging Bolt being faster than Landorus outside of Trick Room, and that's made kind of a few awkward positions for figuring out the speed interactions. But as we see the leads come out, double restricted from both sides. Miraidon Calyrex Ice going up against Zamazenta Calyrex Shadow. So Michael probably looking to do some positioning here, and the Calyrex Ice looking to be in some danger.
Yeah, you really lose nothing by just opting to have Miraidon just start out, because you can just chip out something destructively, like by a lot. Like you have to switch in Rilla, and then if you switch in Rilla, then guess what? What if I go for Glacial Lance? You're not gonna like that either. So whether it was this or the Incend, you don't really lose. As you do see the Terra Fire come out here, and we do see Electro Drift just opting to just try to see if we can potentially nuke the Zamazenta here. You do live that. Glacial Lance comes out, not gonna do a lot of damage, but Zama really paid for its crimes that turn, even though Calyrex got to stay safe. But I don't know. It's going to get kind of interesting, because I think you do need Zama later on.
Yeah, interestingly, Calyrex Ice Rider being the one to use its Terra and come away from that turn completely unscathed, as Zamazenta going to have to take the Electro Drift. Does score a critical hit on the Miraidon, so there's a very good amount of damage being traded there from both sides. But this is not a bad position if you're Michael here, with that Calyrex still hanging on and the ability to get rid of that Zamazenta so it can do its thing under Trick Room here. But with the Calyrex just barely taking that Electro Drift, able to get a Astral Barrage before it finally goes down here. So we'll have to see if the Trick Room comes out, or no, just the high horsepower are going to take care of the Zamazenta. And after an explosive first two turns, we're going to see one Calyrex still standing here, as both of Chromate's restricted Pokemon go down, as Michael's is hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a collision course of just like big heavy hitters, big hits everywhere, all across the board. And we do see a Raging Bolt make an appearance, so it's going to be interesting. If Lando's in the back, then you're kind of in a tough spot. But Ensign is here, and so is Smeargle. Now you do have a lot of fake out options. You have decorate options, so kind of waiting to see how Michael's gonna play this. But for Chromate, like Raging Bolt is Raging Bolt, so it's not completely over. You have a lot that you can just kind of follow me. So if you catch the right one, the Ensign's the only thing. If you can get this Ensign out of here, like, then you're okay. But the Calyrex with that +1 attack is like the problem, and not sure how you immediately address it at this very moment.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of HP left, so you know it is very
You just need to
getting
hit,
knocked out.
right?
Yeah, you just need to get it. With at least with Smeargle here, you do have the faster fake out into the Incineroar, so you do have a play here. It's like, okay, you just fake out the Incineroar, attack the Calyrex, get it off the board. You mentioned if Landorus is in the back, you kind of have a tough time here, but I mean, depending on the speed order here, we could potentially have a situation where Raging Bolt can do it by itself, as Amoonguss is the last Pokemon here. So, interestingly enough, Amoonguss can Rage Powder, so Decorate kind of goes off the table here. So if you do Decorate, you're going to be giving Amoonguss a boost, and I don't think you do that. So, but the only thing that Raging Bolt really has to hit this Amoonguss is Draco Meteor. I guess you could try to Thunderbolt it, put it into chip damage range, but yeah, I mean, both of these Pokemon, Incineroar and Amoonguss, don't have a lot that it can do to Raging Bolt at this moment. So, I mean, we might just be seeing some redirection plays as we just try to see which side can put out the most damage to finally get to the damage dealer on the opposing side. But
I mean, listen,
that's the only thing they can do is just redirect.
Yeah. You're in a kind of an interesting spot, and you do see the Decorate come out, and Thunderbolt absolutely just
wow.
Woo, okay. Well, I was going to say, hey, I've seen some crazier things. I see Ensign Amoonguss win these before, you know what I'm saying? Credit to Paul Chua. We've seen it before, but not today. Raging Bolt, Decorate, yeah, we're not doing that. So let's move on to the next game.
Yeah, so I guess we completely missed the Terra Grass on Smeargle on the team sheet. That is one way that you can avoid Rage Powder and then decorate your own Raging Bolt to finally get the KO, just completely wiping Ensign off of the board there. And yeah, if you were just able to get that Decorate onto it, Amoonguss didn't even Rage Powder there, so there was no Terra Grass on the board at all. There was just the Decorate Thunderbolt. That probably would have done like over 50% to Amoonguss. So yeah, Smeargle proving how how good of a support Pokemon it could be. Fast fake out, Decorate pressure. It's just, yeah, saving the Terra for the end game was a very, very good play for Chromate there. Very, very well played. And game 2, Michael definitely gonna have to go back to the drawing board, recognizing that Raging Bolt is a threat in the back and gonna need to potentially conserve his restricted pieces a little bit better.
Yeah, we had an explosive the first 2 turns, and we all thought, okay, like this isn't necessarily bad, and then we just kind of forgot that Raging Bolt is still like a huge problem, and having the faster fake out even makes it even more dynamic of a problem because you just continue to just boost it. So the question is, do you keep the same leads? And that's exactly what we see now. The question is, will we have the same explosive type turn as we had last game?
Yeah, the problem with leading both of your restricteds and then having kind of a slower mode in the back is that you kind of lose a lot of your damage up. But I think the difference within the first game is that Chromate still had a Raging Bolt in the back, so he actually they actually had a means of doing significant damage. So yeah, when you have Incineroar and Amoonguss, you have those supported pieces in the back. It kind of makes you wonder if you really want to be giving up your restricteds that easily in the first game. But a very defensive play coming out from Chromate. They're just going to protect both of their Pokemon, see what the Miraidon locks into, and protect themselves, both of their Pokemon, from a Glacial Lance. So, I mean, Michael just content to go for an Electro Drift, try to pick up a good amount of damage onto any of these Pokemon. And yeah, instead of trying to pivot the Miraidon out and maybe putting Calyrex next to a positional piece, it's just, he's just trying to get as much damage off as possible.
Yeah, I think Chromate just made a really nice choice. Like, you know what? I don't want to really do the car crash as the first game, so let me see if I can scout a little bit. And it does change this. So opting for Wide Guard here, we do see Electro Drift come out, does a ton of damage, and you are going to have to be able to return some of that damage. You take over half, but Calyrex, honestly, this is not a trade you like because you can just get Electro Drift and then you can potentially get high horsepower, or you can even potentially swap the Calyrex here because you're going to need it for later. Miraidon's in a perfect place. It's just doing damage. And Calyrex right now in big trouble here.
Yeah, interestingly to note that Miraidon's Electro Drift did not put Calyrex in Life Orb KO range this turn, so it's potentially able to get off another hit if it's not targeted this turn. So it is able to get the Astral Barrage, one more Astral Barrage for its troubles before it finally goes down, as Miraidon able to get a good chunk of damage into the Zamazenta, not able to KO the Calyrex on Michael's side, but now with the Trick Room up, Calyrex in a position to where it can start doing something here as Incineroar comes in. But with Calyrex being on such low HP, you have to think it's probably not going to be doing too much here on this Trick Room board. You have Fake Out, but both of these Pokemon do have Protect to be able to stall the Fake Out turn, Raging Bolt with Thunderclap. It might be tough for Calyrex to get going if it doesn't have a way to get around this Thunderclap.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing about this is you actually have a lot of pivoting options here, because we do remember, like, Among Us was in the back game 1, and it does have Pollen Puff. So if you do want to keep the Calyrex healthy, it's not too difficult to reposition yourself here because you have Fake Out active, and you kind of don't want to just lend yourself to take a potential Fake Out in Glacial Lance here. So there are some options on the table. It kind of depends on how he wants to play this. We do see the Terra Electric and just opting to just go for it and gets it. We do see a trade here. Not sure how that's going to work out, because I'm just like, wait, isn't Raging Ball still a problem? But there's the answer. It is Landorus.
Yeah, there is the Landorus, and so now Michael recognizing, okay, I need some sort of damage in the back. Among Us wasn't quite cutting it. But now with the Smeargle on the board, you do have a Fake Out coming out from Cromate's side, so they do have the ability to Fake Out potentially the Incineroar or, the Landorus to stop it from attacking this turn and getting a very big hit off with Raging Bolt. But yeah, we'll also have to see the speed interaction between both of these Pokemon, because Draco Meteor into Landorus is a very viable option. Smeargle also has the ability to direct Earth Powers coming out from Landorus, so it has a couple options on how it can support this Raging Bolt going into the end. Like, you want to follow me to divert attention away from Raging Bolt. You want to Fake Out. There's no Protects coming out here, so if Chromate did target this Landorus with a Draco Meteor, it unfortunately whiffs to the side, and that is potentially huge, as now...
this is bad. The Smeargle getting the speed boost. And so now Incineroar can just go after the Smeargle, and then Landorus can just go for their Earth Power, and there's really nothing you can really do about that.
Also, did the Landorus flinch before the Raging Bolt attacked? I blinked and I missed it. I feel like it flinched before Raging. So if that is the case, hypothetically, that means Smeargle getting the speed boost makes it so that Incineroar can attack the Smeargle, get rid of it. Yeah, and if Landorus is the... Oh no, it's actually Raging Bolt that's faster than Landorus. So it is able to get the KO with Draco Meteor, and now we're in a bit of a war of attrition situation to see which Pokemon is able to KO the other one first. So we'll have to see if Raging Bolt, despite being at -2 special attack, does have the Terra Electric, does have Thunderbolt, does still have the Photosynthesis special attack boost, is able to tap the Incineroar before Incineroar is able to get the KO here. But yeah, just using the Protect there to stall out the one last turn of Trick Room, and yeah, it'll be close, but I think Raging Bolt might have the edge in this particular endgame.
Yeah, you can just do so much more damage with these trades, and plus with the Flare Blitz, you're taking small residuals every single time. So eventually it's going to get to a point where it's like, I don't know if you have enough HP to just continue this little war of attrition here. But I mean, hey, because of the Draco, won't be doing as much, so maybe there's a chance. Maybe you just do some little knockoffs until you feel like you're getting close to in range here. Thunderbolt 26. Doing quite a bit, and you're taking recoil on top of that. I don't know if Bolt can pull. I think Bolt actually pulls this off, because that's just a lot. 26%, and you're also taking recoil.
Yeah, the recoil actually proved. I forgot this Incineroar was actually holding Assault Vest, so that's probably why the Thunderbolt is doing so little, even with all the multipliers still on it. But, I mean, yeah, you mentioned the recoil.
Oh, yeah.
Big deal. Yeah, that's going to be a little too much damage there. Raging Bolt hangs on. Incineroar hangs on. But unfortunately, even if you don't want to click Thunderbolt, you can Thunderclap, Thunderbolt, anything you want.
Yeah.
And that is going to seal the game for Chromate. Our last top 4 qualifier. Just a very, very well played set, and Raging Bolt proving to be the difference here in this set. Very, very well played to both players, but in the end, it will be Chromate it will be Chromate moving on to the top 4.
Yeah, a really well played set, and just such a interesting clash of basically styles, it seems. And we Landorus. It was basically a Landorus versus Raging Bolt show. Those are the two pivotal mons that needed to win the games and just couldn't get the exact combinations correct for the Landorus to be put in a great position. In game one, there was no Landorus at all, so they made a world of a difference there. And those ginormous clashes of turn 1 and 2s in both games were kind of insane, but it really just showed like, hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna switch some things up, but having that end game under Trick Room, fortunately, just wasn't able to get what you needed.